anything about it is not the way to go about fixing that problem. I think we need to be in there, especially as conservative men, we need to be involved in those spaces to fix the problems that are internal. And it's not going to happen if we're just be like, we'll just let it figure itself out.
All right, thank you, Beating Cheeks. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. Toby Maguire, 49. He's dating a 20-year-old. Any objections there? So you're 21, right?
Yes, I am 21.
Okay, maybe you have some thoughts?
I personally would not date someone that age. Would make me feel uncomfortable. But this situation does not affect me whatsoever. It's not my relationship. I can choose what I want to do as a person, but I'm not gonna, I don't know. It's an interesting story, but I don't see how it affects me.
It doesn't affect you.
I know.
Right, but so for example, probably there's conflicts out in the world that don't affect you personally, but you have thoughts on them regardless.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, if you had to just give us, your own view.
I hope that she's okay and she feels safe and it's not like an imbalance of power and that she has thought a lot about it. That being said, I can't make those decisions for her. I feel like you can try to help someone as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you can really only help yourself.
Well, for what reasons would you choose to help her?
I think I would probably just be like, hey, are you in a consensual, safe relationship? Ask about the nature of it, see if it's but at the end of the day, it's not my decision.
But so you think just simply by virtue of the discrepancy in age that those questions would be warranted?
I think it depends on the situation, but yes, I do. Just because that is a pretty decent age gap.
So you would not feel the need to ask those kinds of questions, for example, if it was like a 21 and a 21-year-old dating?
Well, I feel like it depends on the context. You feel like there's a lot of instances where someone can feel unsafe in a relationship, someone can feel like there's a power imbalance, and it's not just to do with age. There's other factors as well.
Like what?
I don't know. Just if someone is acting in a toxic way, if someone is... I know there's certain topics that we can't talk about on this podcast, so I'm going to refrain, but I think there's a lot of instances where there can be power imbalances in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Does that have to do with SA? Is that what you're talking about?
I would say so, but I don't really want to talk about that more on the podcast because I know that's one of the topics we're not supposed to discuss.
Well, how about I just give you a pass and you just use the word SA so that you can tell us what you're talking about?
Donated $200. As an ex-PJ, I'll let you know, lose weight, swim a lot, and learn to get beat down. It ain't about the muscles anymore, it's mental. Also, women won't win the age gap argument. It's just about the ick.
All right, thank you, Beating Cheeks. Appreciate it. Okay, so I'm a little confused. So something about power dynamics and these women being potentially SA'd because of the power dynamic, or?
Well, I don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about a topic like that because it is really sensitive, and I don't feel comfortable talking about that on the internet, so I'm going to refrain from that specifically. But there are power imbalances in a relationship. I've had friends where there is power imbalances and I know they don't feel safe in their relationship, and I'll check in on them, offer them support, tell them that if they need help, I'm here for them. If they need someone to talk to, if they need help getting out of the relationship, I'm here for them. But at the end of the day, if you're in a bad situation, the only person who can get you out is yourself.
So you said you've had friends who are in relationships where there's a skewed power dynamic.
Yes, I think we can all agree as women that we've had friends that have been in toxic relationships.
Age-based?
Yeah, but power dynamics is a very specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For example, you could be in a relationship where there is no power dynamic, but it's toxic. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little confused there. Are you conflating power dynamic with just toxic relationship?
No, I think I was using toxic as a blanket term, but looking back on it now, I would say that I think it is very common for relationships to have a power imbalance. I don't know if anyone disagrees with that. They can, of course, interject. But
So when you say power dynamic, what you say it's very common. You're in college.
Yes.
So even your girlfriends who are in college, who are dating college guys, they're encountering power dynamics.
Well, like you were talking about with SA earlier, SA does function on a power imbalance. You're holding physical power over someone else.
So these women are getting essayed by their boyfriends?
Yes. Sometimes that does happen. Crazy idea.
Sure, but I mean...
So why did you bring it up in the context of age? Because being physically being physically dominant in a relationship between a man and a woman, the man is 99.999% of the time going to be stronger, more powerful, able to dominate their woman. So why did this come into the context of Tobey Maguire being 49 and his girlfriend being 20?
Well, because
is that only an age gap?
I think it depends on the situation. It's not only an age gap, but if you asked me what I thought on the situation, I would just want to ensure that his girlfriend was okay and that it wasn't an uncomfortable situation, that she felt safe. That's all I'm saying.
But why does him being 49 and her being, would you say 21, have to do with her being okay? Why wouldn't she be okay? What if she actually liked him?
Well, that is an instance, and I think that's totally a possibility. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that I'm trying to rule out that possibility.
I don't know, is it a G word, the thing you can say, like grooming?
Yeah, that's kind of what you just referenced is what I'm alluding to, yes.
I'm just
I
not
didn't
sure
know
if
if that was
that's-
an appropriate topic to talk about on here.
Well, again, it doesn't really have anything to do with the age. Like, terrible men are going to be terrible men, regardless if they're 12 years old or if they're 50.
I don't even think this plays into a power dynamic
really
either.
doesn't.
This is that's criminal behavior.
Yeah.
That goes beyond just power dynamic.
Really? Yeah, that's
So
not...
I'm just confused.
And there are normal human beings that an age difference, they have met somebody and they've found a genuine connection. It has nothing to do with anything. So criminalizing that, it's obviously they have really nothing in common at that point, but it's really it doesn't mean he's grooming her to be somebody. That's weird.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he automatically is.
Yeah.
I wasn't
but then
saying that
I can
either.
also ask the inverse. Is she trying to take advantage of him for his money,
Exactly.
influence, fame?
Well,
Because
no.
it's extremely easy for women to take advantage of a man's resources. All they have to do is get some kind of legal precedent to where they can divorce, get half of their stuff, start getting a bunch of their income, and they have to do nothing for the rest of their life. And especially in Tobey Maguire's case, that's a serious possibility. So I'm hoping I assume Tobey Maguire's a mature dude. He's 49 years old, seems like a mature guy, knows what he's doing, has identified this girl as someone who's going to be a good partner, loves him for being best Spider-Man. And I'm hoping she does the same thing. It seems like, I know nothing about their situation, but I would hope that they're in a good relationship.
Yeah, I agree with your points, yeah.
Okay.
All right, your reaction to the Tobey Maguire thing?
I think most women in their early 20s have no idea left, right, up, down, and Tobey Maguire being 49 is being completely inappropriate dating a 20-year-old, 21-year-old.
Why?
Because he's mature. He's been around the planet. He's, understands relationship dynamics. I think that women that young should be dating much closer to their own age. And to your point about resources and things like that, the thing she's probably looking at is status. She's looking at a high status man with money, with fame, things like that. So those are the things she's attaching herself to. But in terms of, being a woman of high value, going after those things alone is low value behavior. And it's his responsibility, being the older, more mature person, to date within the maturity level that he's at, not a very vulnerable young woman who is definitely going to be taken advantage of in other ways in terms of her body and her time and her energy, and she's going to be falling in love with this guy when the chances of them actually working out are going to be pretty slim to none.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
There's a lot of buzzwords here. Vulnerable.
Yeah.
She's vulnerable.
Yeah.
he's going to take advantage of her body. Wouldn't that just apply equally back to Toby? She would be taking advantage of his body.
I know. I fully agree that there's it's an inappropriate match there, just age-wise.
No. But that, I think, taking advantage of somebody typically, doesn't that only go one way?
No.
Or are you saying it goes both ways?
I think it can go both ways, absolutely. But you'd have to evaluate their personalities, what their actual intent is, and all of that. But based on observation, all we got here was a storyline, right? That's all we got. And we got their age.
Yeah,
that's all we know.
Yeah,
correct.
49, 20.
Yep, that's all we got. And so I just am saying that based on traditional, not traditional, but the majority of relationships out there that are like that, the young girls are going after money, fame, status, etc. That's taking advantage of him. Right?
Okay.
Yep. And then likewise, he's going for the really young, vulnerable, easy, docile personality with a lot of life to go still. That's equal. Yeah.
What do you mean by vulnerable?
When you're young, when you're a teenager, when you're in your early 20s, this is both for men and women, you're a sponge. And that's a vulnerable place to be where you're not operating from an educated, experienced position. They're vulnerable in terms of they're easily swayed, they're easily suggestible. So that's what I mean by vulnerable. They're a sponge.
So do you think
they definitely shouldn't be joining the military at that age.
I mean, I joined at 17, but that's
I know, but you definitely shouldn't have because you're a sponge and you're easily suggestible
Andrew,
and you don't have any autonomy. And you're just kind of a fool, right?
No, that's completely different. You're someone going in the military.
Why is it completely different?
Oh, well, I'll tell you. So when you go into the military, like I did at 17, you're going into a safe. When I mean safe, I mean it's structured. There's laws and rules and regulations in place.
Because there's not laws and rules and regulations in place for relationships and for marriage, even though there is, right? You can't just randomly essay women, right? Even if you're in a relationship, there's still laws in place, even if you're not in the military, right?
I don't know why you're getting so heated, Andrew.
Well, I want an answer to the question.
There's the tone policing already. Just engage.
I want to know why you think it's okay to be, when you say sponge, right? Oh, you're just a sponge. They have so much life left to live, girl.
I guess I'm just what is your point?
Hang on, let me finish, and then I'll turn it over to you. Okay, hang on, let me finish. You say, they're a sponge. They're just absorbed. They're easily influenced, right, and totally suggestible. These are your words.
Correct.
But of course, they should be joining the military because they're easily suggestible. They're like sponges. They could be easily influenced into doing things they ordinarily wouldn't do. The SA rate for women in the military is sky high. Seems like, it's a little bit of a contradiction there, right?
No, I disagree because they're two completely separate topics. The question was, do I think that that massive of an age gap is an issue? And my answer, in my opinion, is yes, I think it's an issue. I think 10 years is appropriate as a max. But once you start getting into the 20s, et cetera, I think it's completely disproportionate. They're different areas of their lives, and that's my opinion.
Like your commanding officer, for instance, who's probably going to be much older than you are, right?
That's so different, Andrew. One is a teacher.
Why is it different? You're suggestible, which means you can't make good decisions because you're a sponge. You're always absorbing the things that are around you. This is your logic, the entailment of your logic.
We can give each other the space to talk, but you cut me off first.
I just let you go.
You cut me off first.
Let you go.
You cut me off first.
You were done
I was in
talking.
the middle of giving my answer, and you cut me off first.
Hey, I'm done talking, and now you can't talk.
Andrew, we've done this before together. I will, but once I finish my point.
Stop talking. Let me finish.
Andrew, I'm not going to take that from you or anybody.
I'm not going to take it. I'll get up and leave right now, right this second.
I'm not going to do this with you, Andrew.
Are you going to have a discourse like adults, or what? You can't finish talking, and then when I start talking,
I just have to come in and pick one of you to finish your
fine.
things. Andrew gets to finish.
That's
Go ahead,
fine.
Andrew.
Okay, so anyway, your line of logic would still apply to other situations. If women are easily suggestible, they're just young sponges, they're just absorbing the things around them, you say these are two different situations, as though I'm talking about them like they're the same situation. The logical entailment, though, would apply in both. That's the point.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I didn't specify women. I said young people, both men and women, when they're in their early 20s, are very suggestible, impressionable. They're sponges. That's what I said. So I wasn't specifically talking about women. We were not talking about the military. And the difference that I was trying to articulate was that if there's a 20-year age gap between myself as an example, and a staff sergeant that's in charge of my platoon, his job is to train me, is to educate me, is to lead me, is to build me into being a